Welcome to the Middle East Outreach Council announcement of the 2020 Middle East Book Award. I'm Susan Douglas, co-chair of the Middle East Book Award Committee.
And I'm Emma Harber. I'm also co-chair of the Middle East Book Award Committee. And we are thrilled to have you joining us for our first ever virtual awards announcement for the Middle East Book Award. Despite the pandemic, we had a very successful review process this year, thanks to our reviewers and publishers of nominated titles. Overall, our committees reviewed almost 50 different books. Established in 1999, the Middle East Book Award recognizes quality books for children and young adults that contribute meaningfully to an understanding of the Middle East and its component societies and cultures. A committee of MEOC members, including teachers, librarians, outreach coordinators at different universities, and other educators, select award winners and, if appropriate, honorable mentions in 3 categories. 1, picture books. 2, youth literature. 3, nonfiction. Books are judged on the authenticity of their portrayal of a Middle Eastern subject, as well as on characterization, plot, and appeal for the intended audience.
Eligible books were published between January 2019 and June 2020.
We have invited members of our subcommittees to announce the awards in each category, and we are also very excited to have some of our award-winning authors joining us today to provide remarks. So first, I'm thrilled to introduce Angela Williams, Associate Director at the Center for South Asian and Middle Eastern Studies at the University of Illinois, who will announce our 2020 Picture Book Awards. Angela, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. I'm Angela Williams from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, and I'm happy to acknowledge this year's Picture Book subcommittee members and our Picture Book awardees. So first, this year, we had a wonderful group who served on the committee, and I'd like to thank them particularly: Hadil Ghanim, Nena Odim, Courtney Tucker, and Andy Webb. This was such an engaged group of teachers, former teachers, children's book author, and graduate students studying literacy and multiculturalism. I was just really appreciative of the diversity of the group and their perspectives and sort of expertise that they brought when we came to decide the winners. So we had such a great pool of about 24 books that we read. It was hard to just narrow it down to 3 to recognize, but we succeeded. So first prize goes to Salma the Syrian Chef by Danny Ramadan, illustrated by Anna Braun. This is a lovely story of Salma and her mother, who have recently immigrated to Vancouver. And Salma's mother is still quite distraught and missing her father, who's in Syria. Salma's father's in Syria. And all Salma wants to do is make her mother happy again. So she stirs up an idea with her new friends at the Welcome Center to try to make her mother happy. And through the story, you can see her interactions with her new friends and learn about their foods, learn about Syrian cuisine, and see if Salma's plan works.
Hi everyone, my name is Danny Ramadan, and I'm so thankful to the Middle East Outreach Council for honoring me with the Picture Book Award for Salma the Syrian Chef. I wrote Salma the Syrian Chef as a way to represent the challenges and the joys of Syrian refugees moving from one side of the world to the next. I tried my very best not to shy away from difficult topics, but also to represent the resilience of those Syrian refugees, and specifically the youngsters that are coming with their family and integrating into the Canadian community. Of course, I'm really thankful to the folks at Anik Press who published this book and trusted me with this story. And again, it is such an honor to be receiving this award and to be part of this live virtual event. Thank you again, and cheers.
Second, this is also, we gave first prize to The Catman of Aleppo by Irene Latham and Kareem Shamsi Basha, illustrated by Yuko Shimizu. This story is based on the life of Mr. Mohammed El Jalil, who was an ambulance driver in Aleppo. And when the war broke out, rather than leaving, he decided to stay and help the people and also to help the cats. We awarded this because it is a true story, and the illustrations are so vivid and lovely that depict the old city of Syria, also destruction happening during war times, but also some hope and agency, showing what people can do, are doing, have been doing. Also, there is a Facebook page devoted to Mr. Muhammad that you or your students can look at to just keep updated on him. So again, congratulations to the Catman of Aleppo.
Hi everyone, Irene Latham here, celebrating these wonderful book awards. Thank you so much to the Middle East Outreach Council for selecting the Catman of Aleppo for your picture book award. Fred Rogers famously said, "Look for the helpers." And Muhammad Allah Ajalil is one of those helpers. And it has just been an honor and a privilege to help share his story with the world. And it is my hope that this award helps bring more readers to his story so that more people can be inspired by the goodness and the love that exists in Syria right now, today. I want to share this award with Kareem Shamsi Basha, who is my co-author, and our illustrator Yuko Shimizu, and our publisher Penguin Random House, especially Stacy Barney, our editor, without whom the book would not exist. So thank you again, and let us all go out and be helpers.
Hello, my name is Kareem Shamsi Basha, and I co-authored the book Catman of Aleppo with Irene Latham and Yuko Shimizu as an illustrator. And I just want to say this about the book, that it was a beautiful, humane story out of my war-torn country of Syria. Even in the darkest places, bits of light, just beautiful, humane light can be found. And Muhammad Ala Al-Jalil, that's Catman, saved all the cats during the war. And he also built orphanages and saved children, and just did tremendous work. And it was an honor for me to do this book and tell his story. It's a story that needed to be told. And I incredibly appreciate winning this award, and thank you for this huge honor. And delighted to be working on another humane story out of Syria, and you'll know about that next year. But anyway, for now, again, I'm honored. Thank you for this award. And I would love for people to just focus on the positive. Look for those little nuances of humanity, even in the darkest of places. Thank you so much.
As an honorable mention, we wanted to recognize The Ghoul by Tagreed Najjar, illustrated by Hassan Manasra. And this is an Arabic folk tale translated from Arabic to English for us by Michelle Mushabek. This is a story of young Hassan and his family who are living in a village. And up on a mountain there is a ghoul, the monster that everyone is afraid of. And all their life, all Hassan's life, people have been tiptoeing around this mountain, trying not to upset the ghoul. Until one day, young, brave Hassan decides to go up the mountain and face the ghoul. So what does he find? It's a story about difference and being afraid of the unknown, being afraid of what's different from you, just because it's different. So congratulations to the ghoul. Thank you again to our committee. Thank you to MEOC for this wonderful opportunity to review picture books, recommend them to our schools, to our libraries, to families and our friends. So I hope you enjoy reading these books. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Angela. I am now thrilled to introduce our representative from the Youth Literature Committee, Barbara Petzen. Barbara is Director of Training and Initiatives at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, D.C. Barbara will now announce our 2020 award winners in the Youth Literature category.
Hi, my name is Barbara Petzen, and on behalf of the Youth Literature Committee of the Middle East Book Awards, I am delighted to introduce you to 3 amazing books. This year, we've selected 2 winners and 1 runner-up for the Middle East Book Awards. Coincidentally, both of our winners belong to a new generation of books about refugees. The Middle East Book Award has in the past recognized several novels that told of the terrible journeys that people from Iraq, from Syria, and elsewhere have had to take as they were forced from their homes by conflict to try and find safety far away. But in the 2 books we've chosen as our winners this year, we find instead stories of people trying to make that new home in that new place as 2 remarkable female young protagonists struggle with the loss of their home and their family, as they struggle to survive in a new language and a new system, as they care for those around them and try to find ways that they can belong in these new communities of other young teenagers in the new countries that they will have to call home. In Other Words for Home by Jasmine Warga, we meet Jude. She's an amazing young woman. She's left her father and brother behind in Syria and come with her pregnant mother to live with their uncle and his American wife in the strange new world of Cincinnati. The book is written in clear and emotional and compelling verse, so it's very easy to read and to feel the emotions that Jude is going throughout her first few months in this new place. She is terribly homesick for Syria, and she misses her father and her brother, who's missing in action in the fighting in Syria. She misses, of course, her friends who were left behind and has to deal with her mother's trauma at losing her husband and being displaced in this new environment, and also dealing with a pregnancy in this new situation. Jude herself has to find a way to fit in. She learns that although she thought she knew English, she doesn't speak it well enough to fit in without being weird. It's even worse when she decides to wear the headscarf and finds that, again, the students around her feel that she is marked by that difference. She has a host of other middle school challenges, of course, finding and trusting new friends, trying out for a play in the theater, and processing her own values and her own sense of self in relation to those of the community around her. She has to find out what's true for her, and in the end, she absolutely does. I know that you will love Jude, and I think that you will love this book.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Warga, the author of Other Words for Home, and I am so thrilled that Other Words for Home has won a Middle East Book Award. Other Words for Home is the story of a 12-year-old girl named Jude who, due to the growing conflict in her home country of Syria, moves across the Atlantic Ocean with her mother to resettle in Cincinnati, Ohio. And it's about the struggles and the joys of making a new life in a new place. And one of my biggest hopes for the book was to showcase a lot of the richness and vibrancy of Middle Eastern and Arab culture that I hadn't seen depicted in a lot of books. And so to have this book win the Middle East Book Award is just such a tremendous honor and makes me so happy. So thank you so much to the committee. Thank you to everyone.
No Ballet Shoes in Syria is our second winner by Catherine Bruton. And similarly, in this book, we are introduced to the character of Aya, who has moved from Syria, left Syria with her mother and her baby brother, and tried to come to the United Kingdom. Her father is lost along the terrible journey, and they arrive in the UK, end up at a refugee center where, because her mother is traumatized by the loss of her husband and the terrible journey, Aya herself has to struggle with this unfamiliar and impenetrable bureaucracy to try and ensure that they can stay in England rather than being returned to Syria. She finds a ballet class in this upstairs in this refugee center at a community center in the town where she's arrived. And this should feel like a second home for Aya, because she herself was a gifted ballet student back in Syria, as we learned from flashbacks to her life in Aleppo and her family's harrowing journey to Britain. But it's hard for her to fit in even in this ballet class, given the distrust and even the hostility of some of the other students. But she does find a new friend there, and she begins to trust the kindness of the ballet teacher, Madame Helena. Madame Helena herself had been a refugee long ago from the Holocaust when she arrived in Britain as a child. She also had to find herself and her future in this new country without her family. So this book brings together these two stories of being a young refugee, feeling alone and lost in this new society, and yet finding yourself through art.
Hi, I'm Catherine Bruton. I'm the author of No Ballet Shoes in Syria. This is the story of 11-year-old Aya, who's just arrived with her mum and her baby brother in the UK, seeking asylum from the war in Syria. When Aya stumbles across a local ballet class, the formidable dance teacher, Miss Helena, spots her exceptional talent, and she believes that Aya has the talent to win a prestigious scholarship. But at the same time, Aya must fight to remain in the country, and she's trying to make a home for themselves and trying to find their father, who's been separated from the family during the perilous journey from Syria. As a teacher, I see firsthand the power of stories to open young people's eyes, to make them ask questions, to make them think about the world around them, and to step into other people's shoes, to expand their capacity for empathy. For me, telling Aya's story felt like a really big responsibility, because it's not my story to tell. This is the story of, in the last 8 years of the Syrian conflict, 11 million citizens have fled their homes, and 50% of those are children. This is their story to tell. And I really hope that in the future that we will hear stories told by young people like Aya themselves in their own words. But it didn't feel like this story could wait, because when you turn on the TV and you see the story of a Syrian refugee who is seeking asylum from the war in Syria, who's then beaten up in a school in the UK, it feels so important that we tell these stories to educate young people, to make them look beyond the sometimes unhelpful definitions attached by the media to words like asylum seeker and refugee, and make them see the child behind the label. What Miss Helena does in the story is she reminds Aya of the parallels between her story and the story of the Kindertransport, and the tradition in our society of the kindness of strangers and of welcoming people into our communities, such an important tradition for our humanity. I'm absolutely thrilled to have been that No Ballet Shoes in Syria has won this award, but it's very much dedicated to the members of the Syrian community who helped me with this story. It's also dedicated to the members of all the welcome organisations like Bath Welcomes Refugees in my own home city, who help families like Aya's to settle in. But most importantly, this story is dedicated to the 12.8 million refugee children around the world today, because 40% of the world's displaced people are children, and there are so many Syrian children who are growing up having known nothing but conflict. And I love the idea that one of those children might open this story and see in Aya's tale, see themselves represented and their stories told, but see themselves not just presented as a war child, but as a beautiful ballerina, not just as a victim, a refugee, an asylum seeker, but as the hero of the story who saves others and helps others just as much as they benefit from the kindness of strangers, which is the message of this story that I really hope to convey. And if I could do that, then I would have done what I've set out to do. Thank you.
The runner-up that we have chosen this year is called Once Upon an Eid, Stories of Hope and Joy by 15 Muslim Voices. It's edited by S.K. Ali and Aisha Saeed and illustrated by Sarah Al-Faqih. Now, this is a wonderful collection of short stories about families around the world celebrating Eid after Ramadan. Some of the stories are funny, some are heart-wrenching, but in all, we can see reflections of our own family's celebrations and holidays, of family tensions and of deep family love, of care and of sacrifice. The understanding of Ramadan and Eid here go far beyond the pale doctrinal picture presented in our textbooks as part of the 5 pillars of Islam. Here we see families come together in the observation of the holiday with rituals and with traditions that are certainly religious, but are also deeply rooted in local cultures, in community values, and in individuals and family personalities and struggles. The stories often focus on moments of growth and challenge and change in a young person's life, where the familiar becomes less so, and they learn what is fundamental and enduring. The glimpse into the kitchens and living rooms of other families in other places and cultures are rich and individual and humanizing. Every student will find someone whose story resonates with them in this collection. They can be read aloud or individually. There's so much to celebrate about this book.
Hi everyone, I'm SK Ali, co-editor along with Aisha Saeed of Once Upon an Eid. I want to thank the organizers of the Middle East Book Awards for selecting Once Upon an Eid to receive an honor award. I'm thrilled that the diverse stories in this anthology have captured your attention and that you recognize the 15 creatives featured in this collection, from writers to our artist, Sarah Al-Faji. When we set out to put together this anthology, Aisha and I wanted to share Muslim experiences of joy, something we weren't seeing very much out there on bookshelves. From feedback we've received from a variety of readers and reviewers, it's apparent the joy was felt by all. We are honored to receive this award and hope that it helps to get this book out to even more readers, young and old. Thank you so much again for this immense honor.
Thanks for hearing a little bit about the terrific books that we've been able to recognize this year. And thanks also to the hardworking and very well-read members of our selection committee, our chair, Betsy Coleman, and my fellow committee members, Kimberly Klett, Lois Pipkin, and Julie Wakefield.
Thank you, Barbara. Our nonfiction subaward committee was chaired by Dr. Roberta Robinson, an independent scholar. This year's committee did not select a nonfiction award winner from the nominated books. We thank all of our volunteer reviewers who read thousands of pages through the 2020 awards process.
We invite all kinds of educators to join the Middle East Outreach Council. Our website is meoc.us, where you will find information on the book awards, a book nomination form, membership information, and a members forum. The Middle East Book Awards has joined with other regional awards to form the World Area Book Awards. Watch this site for announcement of the Spring 2021 webinar series featuring one of our winners in March 2021. The Middle East Outreach Council is also presenting with our colleagues at the virtual National Council for the Social Studies annual conference. Our session with the World Area Book Awards is on Saturday, December 5th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The session is entitled Engage with Award-Winning Global Children's and Youth Literature. Thank you for joining us for this announcement.
Thank you.